Hi there, everyone. Today we are going to be going into texturing and lighting and getting this Blender bedroom scene rendered out. As you see up here, I went ahead and did a quick render. This isn't very high samples or nothing like that, but as you can see, there's a lot of things that has changed. I added some shelves, couple lights, added a t-shirt. I went ahead and I added a hat, coat rack, and soda can, and so on and so forth. What we're going to go ahead and do here, I'm going to try to make this pretty quick and painless. I'm not going to go through and show you guys everything. I'm going to show you guys the process of how I went about texturing and stuff like that. And then I will go ahead and I will leave this file for download. I'm not sure how big this file is going to be, so either I will put it on Blend Swap or I will go ahead and put it on my website, and you guys can go to my website and download this, so you guys can go ahead and look at this for yourself. So let's go ahead and get started. There's going to be another file that you guys can download, and it's going to be a props blend file. And it's going to go ahead and it's going to have a keyboard and a mouse. Now, by no means are these professionally modeled or anything like that. They're just really quick block models. They're really quick block models, and as you can see, all I did was just model the shape of a keyboard. I think we might go ahead and change this color a little bit because the black did not show up in the render. So maybe we'll change this to, I don't know, maybe a red or something like that. But if you go ahead and cycle through these layers, like if I go to layer 2, you'll see the t-shirt, and the t-shirt is, like I said, it started out as a box, and I just went ahead and kind of modeled out a t-shirt type of shape. And on this layer, you'll see that we have a kind of Texas style coat rack with the Texas Longhorns. That's kind of the look that I was going for. And if I go to this layer, you'll just see a glass, a soda can. This box right here will have some, this has PBR materials on it. This will have the materials that we are going to use inside of the bedroom scene. We're just going to go ahead and use PBR shaders. These PBR shaders have gotten really popular lately. You see all kinds of tutorials on how to make them and stuff like that. That's not what this is about this time. I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys kind of the process on how I went through and added materials onto that. And then I made a quick hat because, like I said, I was kind of going for like a Texas style theme. Like I said, the hat's not freshly modeled. It's just got a mirror modifier, subsurf, and a solidify on it. So as you can see, now let's see. Let's go through. I'm going to go ahead and come through and come back to this coat rack, and I'm going to do this really quick. I'm going to show you guys how I went about making like this towel kind of look or whatever. It could possibly be a shirt. It could be whatever you want. You could even take this shirt that I made and maybe put it over there or make a coat. But to get the scene done, I just wanted to, like I said, just add some more simple props inside there to make the scene more interesting. So all I did was the same thing as how we did the bed. I just went through here and I right-clicked to put my 3D cursor there, and then I pressed Shift-A, and I added a plane, and then I scaled it out along the X, just like that, and then I moved it along the x-axis to about right here. Then I tabbed into edit mode and I subdivided it 35 times. So come over here, number of cuts 35 times, just like that. And then tab back into edit mode. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to drag this up some, just like that. And we're going to come over here to our physics tab and we're going to add a cloth. Then we're going to come here and we're going to add a collision, and we're going to leave the collision at default on the cloth. We're going to change to cotton. We're going to change the quality steps to 8. We're going to go down to the cloth collision. We're going to change this quality to 3, and we're going to turn on self collision, and we're going to put that quality up to 3 also. We're going to put the friction up to 15, just like that, and then we're going to let it run through and do its course. And we'll just let it run until it looks pretty good. So I'll just let it go in. It's going to hit that, and then it'll pop back. To about, let's say, that should be enough there. And let's go ahead and just move this back right here. And then I press Control 2 on my keyboard to add a level 2 subdivision surface. And then I added smooth shading on here. And like I said, if you don't have the pie menu, smooth shading is here. Just like that. And that is all I did for that. And then I went to the node editor. And I added a material, the cycles material. Go ahead and just add new. We're going to leave the standard diffuse. We're going to press Shift A, and we are going to add a shader, a mix shader, and we're going to plug that in right there. And then we're going to Shift A, add a translucent shader, just like that. I'm going to bring this in, and I'm going to put this on about 0.2 for the mix shader factor, just like that. And that looks pretty good to me. It's just a basic, simple texture. You could go ahead and change this white color to whatever you want, but in the scene, I just wanted to stick with as few colors as I could. So you see that I just got black and kind of a red color going on here. I mean, I got a little bit of blue and stuff in the pictures, but I didn't want it to add too many colors to throw this scene off. So that's pretty much it. That's all I did for this. To get this stuff inside your scene, all you'll need to do is just go ahead and go to your main scene, and then you can press Shift F1, and that's for append. And then all you'll want to do is come to the prompts folder. For the nodes, you'll want to go to the node tree and just select all these and then hit append from library. And then for your objects, you want to come back and you can just go ahead and grab the t-shirt, soda, mouse, the lamp, or not the lamp, sorry, keyboard, hat, glass, and your coat rack top and bottom, and then just hit append, and it will be inside the scene there for you. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel. That's how you guys go ahead and get that stuff inside there. Let's see, I think that is pretty much it. This material, like I said, it's just a standard material. You guys could go ahead, if you want to, you could press Shift A and you could add another mix shader on here. And you could go ahead and add a glossy, Shift A, shader, glossy, and then hook the glossy up to the bottom down here if you'd like. And then we could go ahead and press Shift A as shader, and then you guys could go ahead, I'm sorry, not shader, where's it at? You go to input and add a Fresnel, or you guys could go ahead and use the Fresnel node and add that in there, just like that. And it'll be a simple texture, just like that. And like I said, you guys will have the blend file, so you guys can go ahead and check this out more in depth. So let's go ahead and come back over here, and let's go ahead and let's do the drape first. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this material here, and I'm going to go ahead and add a new material, and I'm going to go ahead and name this, I don't know, drape tutorial, just like that. And all you need to do is just tab into edit mode and just press U and then unwrap this. And you will see that you'll get it unwrapped over here. And for the material, we don't need to be into edit mode anymore. All we're going to do for this material is we're going to press Shift A, and we're going to go ahead and add a texture. And we're going to go to Image Texture, and we're going to go ahead and press Open. And the textures that I'm using are the free textures that you get from Pixar. I'll go ahead and leave a link to these Pixar textures in the description. You guys could go ahead and download these if you'd like. And then we're just going to click on the fabric, and we're going to go ahead and open this up. And we're going to go ahead and open the blue cotton tweed JPEG. So I'm just going to double click on this and open this up. We're going to connect it to the diffuse. And I'm going to press Control T to add a mapping node and a texture coordinate node, because we are going to we're going to have to scale this up to tile this a few more times, because if we look here at preview, you'll see that the it's not really a good example here. Let me go ahead and get out of the camera, and let me go ahead and come in really close in on this right here. And I'm going to press Control B to bring up border rendering. And I'm just going to select a little spot there. And I'm just going to press Z and go to rendered, so you guys could see this. And you'll see how it's super big. So we're going to go ahead and hold down Shift, and I'm going to run through these. And I'm going to tile this, let's do it by 5. And now you'll see that they're super little now. And you can see over here in the preview that they're tiling really, really well. So that's all we're going to do for that. I'm going to go ahead and close this preview here. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this image texture. So press Shift D, just like that. I'm going to change this from color to non-color data, because we are going to use the normal map, and it won't work correctly if you keep it on color. So we're going to go ahead and come in here, and we're going to go ahead and grab the blue cotton normal JPEG. And going to double click on that to load it in. And we are going to just go ahead and we're going to press Shift A, and we're going to go to Vector, and we're going to click on Normal Map. Just like that, we're going to plug the color into the color on the normal map node, and we are going to plug that into the diffuse normal, just like that. And as you can see, it looks a little funky here. That's because we need to plug in this mapping node, because remember, we tiled that texture, and there we go. Now it looks proper. The next thing that we are going to go ahead and do is we are going to press Shift A, and we are going to add a shader. We're going to add a mix shader, just like that. And we're going to press Shift A, and we are going to add a translucent shader. These are really simple shader setups for this here. So we're going to go translucent to the bottom here. And then we are going to plug in this normal into the translucent here, just like that. And we are going to turn this factor down to about 0.2, just like that. And let me move this stuff around a little bit. We are going to go ahead and change the color on this texture because it's blue and I want it to be kind of a red. So we're going to press Shift A, and we're going to go to color, and we're going to go to RGB curves. I'm going to go ahead and click on the red here. Let me zoom in so you guys can see that. And we are going to go ahead and we're going to click about right here. We're going to bring this up. And then I'm going to click about right here and bring this up to about here. And if we look at the preview, now you'll see that it's a nice red color. And that's all we are going to do for this. So if I press Z and go back into solid, and if I press Control B and just make a selection here, and press Z and go into rendered, you'll see that we should be getting some of that translucency coming in through this window. You let it load, and you can see that we are getting some good translucency coming in through this window from this sun lamp. Everything is set up the same how we did last time. I'm not sure. Trying to remember. Sorry, I don't remember about the last part if we went ahead and did the lighting. But I'll go ahead and show you anyways. Let me get rid of this rendered border. And let me press 0 on my number keypad to go look through the camera. And you will see that I added a image. And yeah, I think we need to go ahead and show the rest of the material first. So what we're going to go ahead and do here for our dresser is we're just going to go ahead and let me delete this real quick. I'm going to add a new material, and I'm just going to name this black dot 02, just like that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to just press X to delete that diffuse shader, and we're going to press Shift A, and we're going to go into group, and we are going to grab that PBR standard shader, and we're just going to plug that right in the surface there. And if I bring up the preview, you'll go ahead and see a preview of how that looks. And we're just going to move this color down to black. And the thing is that I do not want this dresser to be super glossy and super reflective like this. I don't want it to look like a hard lacquered dresser. I want the roughness, so we want to turn the roughness. This controls your roughness just like on a glossy shader or a diffuse shader. So I'm going to turn this roughness up to about 0.3. And you can see that that dispersed the reflections and the gloss and the wet look of the reflections and stuff all across that shader a little bit more. And it makes it just look a little bit more dull, and I like that look a lot. You guys could go ahead and play with the reflectiveness if you want. But we're going to go ahead and leave that turned down, and we're just going to leave it like that. And that's all we're going to do for this shader here. It's the same shader for the handles. All I did was I went ahead and added that same shader. So let's look for the black. Just like that, I added that, and then I pressed the 2 to make it its own material, and then all I did was I turned this up to white, just like that. And you can leave the roughness all the way down to 0 if you'd like, or you could turn it up just a tad bit. And that's all I did for that. And it's the same. Let's see, this material here is just got a mix shader at 0.1 with a glossy at 2 and the diffuse. But I went ahead and I used the, I think it was the Archie Mesh. And so it already came with materials for that. So you guys can just leave that standard. Let's see what else. The lights had their own materials on it. If you want to change the color, you just click like on the base, and you can just change the diffuse color. Let's see, the window now, the window that we added before, if you use the window generator 3, if you guys got that to work, then it should already came with cycle shaders. But for some reason, when I add the Windows Generator 2, for some reason there's not cycle materials on it, on my version anyways. So I have the PBR for glass, so you just press Shift A, group, and just grab the glass node. And then plug the shader in there, and then I turned up the reflections. I turned that up to about a 0.3 on there, and I just wanted a little bit more reflectiveness. When we look at this, you'll see on the windows that there's a little bit more reflection coming off of the windows. And I don't know if you guys can see this too well, but you'll see that we see some reflections coming off the windows here. So that's pretty much it for that material. And then I just went around and I added the drapes texture to the bed. So that's the same as the drape. So I just added it there to the bed, and you see it's got the same node setup and everything. And then it's the same drape texture for the pillows. All I did was I added a different texture. So I added the, if we go in here and look, I added the Haitian cotton, but I didn't use the blue. I went ahead and used this gray, and I believe these gray ones are they use for their bump maps. But I went ahead and used the gray for a colored material because I didn't want the pillows to be any other color besides the whitish gray color they are. All I did was on the RGB curves was I went and I reset the red. So I just clicked the X and I reset the red, and I came over here to this C, that's the overall contrast, and I went ahead and I just bumped that up a little bit to go ahead and make it a little bit darker. And then it's tiled by 5. If you guys don't like the smaller tile size or the smaller the dimples from the texture, just go ahead and turn this scale back down to maybe a 2 or something like that, and you will get more ripples inside that material. For the shirt, it is just the drape. I put the drape texture on there, and then I added that same Haitian cotton texture, and I just turned this contrast, I turned it all the way down here to make it dark. And for the t-shirt white, that's just a standard white diffuse shader. You could go ahead and, if you'd like, you could go ahead and set this up and put the translucent shader and stuff. You could go ahead and add the drape shader to this too also. You'll just want to make sure, well, you can make the shirt whatever color you want. But I just stuck with the basic white diffuse because it looks okay in the render. Like I said, this ain't a very high sampled render, but it looks okay inside the render. So, and on the blanket, all you want to do is you just want to tab into edit mode, just like you did with the drape, and you'll just want to press U and unwrap it. There is no seams or nothing to be made because we used a simple plane to make that, and you see it unwraps just fine. We'll tab back out of that. I also went ahead and I added a solidify modifier to this bed, because if you guys just got the flat plane, you'll notice that when you render that here in the corners, that it will be really dark and black and it just won't look right. I mean, it still looks a little bit like that here, but it tiles the texture all the way around, and giving some thickness to this blanket is needed anyways. The next thing that I did was I just left a standard diffuse on that bottom there because it's kind of far away from the camera and we can't really tell anyways. If I come over here, you'll see that it's kind of like a brownish black, and then I just left the standard diffuse shader up top there. And then if you guys want to see what I did here, it's the same. I used that same drape with the Haitian cotton textures. So like I said, we're going to be reusing all these textures a whole bunch, and it looks fine inside the render for this. That's the reason why I'm not going through and showing you guys everything from step 1. If we go to edit mode and we go in here, all I did was I pressed A and select everything, and then all I did was I hit U and I unwrapped this, and I just let it unwrap like that because it's same. It was the same basic plane, and it unwrapped and it looks just fine. And then for the desk, I went ahead and I added this same black texture over here on the desk. Let me tab out of here and let me go ahead, not tab, I press circle to get out of the camera. let me go ahead and click on this, and like on the keyboard, it's a standard black diffuse shader, but we're going to go ahead and let's just go ahead and press X and delete that. I'm going to press Shift A, and I'm going to go ahead and add this PBR standard shader here, and I'm going to plug that into the surface, and we are going to maybe leave this white, but let's actually we can make it kind of a reddish pink color. I'm not sure if that will look too okay, but we'll play with that. And I'm going to turn the roughness up to something about 0.35, and we'll go ahead and do the same for the mouse. We'll just press X, delete that, Shift A, add that same PBR standard shader, just like that, and we will turn it down some, and we'll just kind of add that same pinkish color to that, and we won't turn the roughness up too high on that. And then if we go back into our camera view, let's press Z, and you'll see that now you guys will be able to see the keyboard and mouse. You should be able to see, and now you'll see that that's over there. On a really high sampled render, you guys should be able to see that just fine. Press Z. I'm going to go ahead and come out of that, go back into solid. Let me press in here. Let me go ahead and, sorry, I know I've had these off the whole time, but let's go ahead and we'll leave all that there, and we'll go ahead and do the text. And I'm going to go ahead and just text size down a little bit. So, and then for the books were pretty simple. They already came with textures when you add them from the Archimesh. And all I did was I went through and I changed some of the colors. I didn't change nothing. I left the glossy and everything the same. I just went through and I went ahead and just went through here and I changed some of these colors: brown, black, brown, left some gray, darker brown. I just went through there and added those to that. And also, you guys might notice that there is no volumetrics in this scene. And I decided to not do the volumetrics in this scene because it really don't suit this scene. And I want to go ahead and do a more fuller, in-depth tutorial on volumetric lighting and do something else cool. Maybe we'll do an outside scene or something like that with volumetric lighting. I'm going to go ahead and stick to the original way that I did that speed art, and I'm just going to leave it as a basic bedroom. And let's see here. So I showed you what material I have on that. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you how I put the material on this seat here. That was pretty easy. So tab into edit object mode. All I did was I went ahead and let me go ahead and put a square material on there. There you go. Now you'll see that it unwrapped just fine. So all I did was I selected everything, and then I just hit U, and I went to Smart UV Project, and I added an island margin of 0.03, and then I hit OK. And that's how this came out unwrapped, just like that. And that's all you need to do. You don't need to add no seams or nothing like that. Doing the Smart UV Project, done everything just fine. Let me go ahead and hide this hat and get this out of the way real quick so you guys can see. Let me tab back into edit mode here. And all I did for this was I added the drape texture to this, but I went here and I went to wireframe mode, and then I went to tab and I went and did face select. Let me deselect everything here, and I pressed B for box select, and I got some of those faces there, so I'm going to press, oops, I'm going to press C, and I'm going to push in with my middle mouse button, and I'm going to go ahead and press C again, and deselect some of these. If I can get it deselected. For some reason it's not wanting to deselect. Getting closer here, C, and deselect those. Just like that. So we just make sure that everything's selected right here. And all I did was I went ahead and I added a, let me go ahead and go back into object mode, and let me delete these textures real quick. So tab back into edit mode, and I just went ahead and added a new texture, and I gave it that black material. So just go black and click on that, and I clicked assign, just like that, and then I pressed Control I and I inverted the selection, and then I just clicked this plus here and added another new material, just like that, and then I just went and added that drape material, just like that, and then I clicked assign, and if I tab out here and I go back into solid and press Control B and press Z and then go into rendered, sorry. You will see that we got this all textured now, and it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and tab Z and go back into solid, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take off the render border. I keep on forgetting what the shortcut is for this, but I'm going to take that off and press Alt H to bring that hat back. And the hat is, let's see, it's just got that Haitian texture on there, and it's pretty much this same material that we did for the shirt. Matter of fact, I think it's the exact same material that we did for the shirt. Let me look. Yep, it's the same material, so I just put that on the hat. Let's see here. The next thing that we are going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you, and also, nope, we're going to leave that at a red color. It's got the standard PBR shader to that. Let's see here. So next, I'm going to show you is got the sun. This is just a sun lamp, and I just got it looking through the window here, just like that. Just to add some more light inside. And then right here, you'll notice that I have a plane with an image texture on that. You'll need to go ahead and go into your user preferences. So go to user preferences and add-ons, and then just type in image. And make sure you have images, import images as planes selected there. I know we did it for the pictures, but just wanted to remind you guys. And then just press Shift A and go to images as planes. And I'm not sure if I could release this texture. I'll try to go ahead and find where I got this texture at. I'm not sure if I got it on DeviantArt or someplace like that, but if not, then you guys could go ahead and add whatever you want in the background, because I'm not sure if I could release this or not. And I'm just going to add that in there, GY, bring it back, and all I did was scaled it up. And then I pressed RX and I rotated it on by 90 degrees. And then I went to press 7 on my number keypad and went to top mode, and then I just moved it back here in place, and I rotated it along the Z a little bit, and then I went through my camera, press 0 on my camera, and then I went into rendered mode, and then I just kind of placed that plane back there. So let me go ahead and delete that. The next thing we're going to talk about is, let me go ahead and close this, pressing in, is I went ahead and I added a plane up above here, and this is a light texture, and I'm using the strength. It's a small strength of about 0.85, and that's just to give it a little bit more light here. It's not necessarily needed, but I just wanted to add a little bit more light there, and it helps with the bigger lights to get some of those fireflies out of there. And then in the back here, so if I just go ahead and hide this box here, you'll see in the back here, I got two more lights. So, and they're white lights. You could go ahead and put a little bit of blue and put a little bit of yellow in there if you'd like. But I just went for this standard scene, and I kept them both at 1 to light up that room a little bit. It's pretty basic stuff. This camera right here, you'll see that I changed the camera. And this camera setup right here, I'll leave the link for it in the description if you guys want to get it. It's an add-on, and you just install it like you do normal add-ons. Press Shift-A and go ahead and go down to armature, and then you'll see that you get a dolly camera rig and a crane camera rig just like that. And I like this rig because if I press in here, you'll see that close screencast keys, that you'll see the crane camera UI. You'll see that you got your clipping all right here, perspective, orthographic. You got your DFO object, add DOF object, and then you got your DOF distance. This means distance of field or depth of field, sorry. And you'll see if I come back here and I zoom in a little bit, you'll see this yellow crosshair. Now that yellow crosshair will be right up here by the camera. You'll just want to go ahead and move that out. So if I move this back, you'll see that it's moving. Move it forward, and you'll see that we put that out there. And then you can add your composition guides here. You can make the camera unselectable, add a marker and bind, X-ray, show safe areas. So you got all this, the focal length, you change your focal length here instead of clicking on the camera and changing all that over here. You have all this inside your settings here. Let's see, your crane arms and stuff. This is a really, really nice camera rig, so I like using it sometimes when I want to get more precise scenes. And this is also animatable, so it's really nice for that, to get kind of like that movie feel if you want. To change your depth of field, you just click on your camera and then come over here in your camera, and you'll see that you have the distance. Normally it'll be on radius, but just change that to f-stop. And I got this on a 0.2. I don't have it very high. I didn't change anything else on it. And that's pretty much it for this tutorial and for doing the materials and stuff like that. Like I said, I just added some of the extra props and stuff like that. Here I went ahead and added a backdrop to the wall, and just to break up that wall a little bit. And let's see, that is pretty much it. I'm trying to think if I am missing anything. Let me go ahead and press Alt-H and circle, I'm sorry, 0 to go back in the camera mode. It's been a long day. And let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and press Z and then go into rendered. Now, this is a very, very heavy scene. So as you can tell, it's taking a little bit for everything to load up in my camera. Now, if you have a slower computer, you could go through and turn down the subdivisions inside of your scene, and that way you don't, you're not rendering out all those faces and verts and stuff like that in your scene. But just go ahead and let me click on this blanket here. If I go ahead and come over here to the modifiers, and like there's a subsurf on here, so all I'd want to do is in the view is just turn this down and then leave the render the same. And so when you press F12 and render, it will render it with the two subdivisions. But in your scene, it will make it move a little bit faster. Let me press Z, so you'll see that we're getting some of this depth of field going on here. And changing that color over there on the keyboard stuff was for the best because, like I said, you couldn't see it in the render. Let's see. So we got the glass material. Just trying to think if that is everything. And I do apologize, guys, for not going through and doing every single step of these all the way through with the texturing. I think I explained it pretty well, and it's pretty simple stuff to do your textures and things like that. I didn't feel that it was necessary for this, and I do apologize. I know some people ain't gonna like that, but like I said, it's pretty simple. So what we're gonna do for our rendering is we're just gonna come over here to our camera settings, and on the display, if you have a GPU, go ahead and put it on GPU compute. If not, just leave it on CPU, but I'm gonna use GPU. You could change the size to whatever size, file size that you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and do 1280 by 720 for this render. And you want to make sure that you turn this from 50% all the way to 100%. And let's see, there's no animations in the scene, so I went ahead and I clamped the scene for the lighting. I clamped it by 3. So you could go ahead and turn that up. I just used the clamp to get rid of some of them fireflies. And on the render samples, I got 2500 on here. You know, the higher you go, the better render it will get. But I don't know if I'm going to render this out at 2500 right now. I'll go ahead and leave that for a second. The volume sampling we're going to leave. Light pass, you could go ahead and play with the light pass if you want, the glossy bounces and stuff like that, but I normally leave that at default. Let's see, film, if you don't want to have that tree and stuff in the background, just go ahead and click the transparent under film, and it will render the transparency. And the performance, for my GPU, I'm using 128. Now, if you go to your CPU, you probably want to, you can turn that down to 32 or 64, and it will go ahead and render better for your CPU. And that's pretty much it. And all we got to do now is just go ahead and hit render and let this guy render out, and we'll see how it looks. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this, and I will be back after it gets done rendering. All right, everybody, the render is done. I set my render back down to 50% just for the time. You'll notice that it's not really super high quality or nothing like that, but I'm going to go ahead and run through some of the compositing with you. In this one, we're not going to do any of the compositing inside of Blender. We're going to go directly inside of GIMP and go ahead and do some of the compositing there. So all you'll need to do is just go to Image, Save as Image, and just go ahead and name it whatever you want and save your image file out. And then open up GIMP and or Photoshop, whatever your preferred software is, and just go ahead and open. And we're going to open this image here and press Open. I'm going to go ahead and duplicate my layer. So just go ahead and duplicate it, and I'm going to turn this one off. And for this one, we're going to go ahead and go to Colors, and we're going to go to Color Balance, and I'm going to pull down the reds just a tad tiny bit. I don't want it super blue, but go ahead and turn it down to about, I don't know, a -1, and then we're going to mess with the yellows, and I'm going to turn that down to about a -2 and press OK. And then let's go ahead and duplicate this layer here, and let's go to Colors, and let's go to Curves, and let's just pull up this curve just a tad bit. Press OK. Let's go ahead and copy it again. Let's go to Colors, and let's do hue and saturation, and let's desaturate this a tad bit. About right there is fine. Let's go ahead and duplicate this one more time, And let's go ahead and go to colors and then brightness and contrast. Let's go ahead and lower the brightness. And let's go ahead and make it a little bit more contrasty. And press OK. Contrasty. I'm not sure if that's a word, but we'll go with it. And let's go ahead and duplicate that. And all right, I just needed to make sure that it was duplicated. And let's go ahead and let's create a new layer. And let's press OK. And like I said, if I zoom way in here, since the image is so small, it's not super high quality, but I wanted to go ahead and get the render done. So let's go ahead and let's come up here to tools and let's go to GEGL operation. Actually, let's cancel that. Let's go ahead and let's put a gradient on this. So let's click on our gradient tool, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to open up my gradients. So let's go to add tab and let's find gradients. Let's open those up there, and I'm going to find something. I think these are all, yeah, these are all the standard gradients. I forgot to add my gradients back in this new build, so that's okay. We're just going to go ahead and make our own. So let's change this color. I'm going to change this color to kind of a orange color, so AC 7500. Press OK, and then for this back color, I'm going to go ahead and and change this to a kind of dark purple, just like that. And let's go ahead and stay on linear, and let's just go ahead and drag this up. Let's Control Z that. Let's drag this up some more, and let's go ahead and put this on overlay. Actually, let's do soft light, and let's just lower the opacity on this some, just kind of make it a little bit warmer up top. Lower the opacity a little bit more, just like that. Let's go ahead and let's create another new layer. Press OK, and let's go ahead and let's just go to tools, GEGL operation. Let's come down here. Let's find vignette. Let's add a vignette, and let's change the shape. All right, let's change the shape of this vignette to let's leave it on number 1, and let's up the radius. So let's leave the radius to about too high, so let's raise it up just a tad bit. I don't want it too super dark. Just give it a little bit of vignette, so about 1.5 is fine. You could raise the softness up a tad bit if you'd like. And we're going to go ahead and leave it like that and press OK. And we're going to put this on multiply, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the opacity down on that just a tad bit. And let's see here. I think that is just about it for this image. Let's go ahead and pull up our text tool, and you guys can go ahead and put a label on it if you want. Just like that. And let's go ahead and lower the size. This document's super small, and I'm not sure which font I would like to use. Go ahead and see what that looks like. That is not the one that we want. Let's go and just choose something simple real quick, and we'll be done with it. I'll just choose that, and I'll change it to white. Press OK, and go ahead and lower the size down some more. I'm going to click over here and grab my move tool and just go ahead and put that down there at the bottom, just like that. And then all you'll want to do is just export it out as whatever you want to export it out as, and then press export, and there we go. That is our final render with some composition on it. I think it turned out pretty good, and like I said, I do apologize for shortening up the materialing or putting materials on the stuff and stuff like that, but I didn't feel that it was too needed. I just felt that, you know, I mean, I just needed to show you how to unwrap a couple of things, and then the rest are just solid materials with these PBR shaders. So I hope you guys enjoyed this bedroom tutorial series. If you guys have any questions, please comment below, and please like and subscribe for tons more tutorials. Have a great day. Thank you.